The anticipation was high, but we were very, very doubtful, especially myself. But The Predator eventually rolled out, and we didn't watch in the theater.
Nope.
Because we were like, whoo, we don't know what the fuck's going on there. But if you're not familiar with The Predator, what the fuck's wrong with you? But there was a new movie, and it's called The Predator. So now when we say The Predator, it's actually going to refer to that one movie. Anyway, the concept of the movie was there is a fugitive predator on the run. And guess what? That's the least of the problems for our main character because he's being chased by an even bigger, badder predator. But why? And that's the main thrust of this movie. Why? Well, we find out why. Here's the thing, man, before we talk about the pros and the cons. I did read the script to this, and as you know, because I discussed it with you, I was extremely doubtful of this movie. I liked enough of the script, but there were elements in it that made me question whether this thing would translate to film at all. And there were things that I just hated in the script.
Mainly
so that's
dogs.
why the Predator dog was one of them, yes. And the kid was something that made me doubt a lot of things. The humor was another. There was a lot of problems with the script. But, you know, I was reticent is the best way to describe me. So we didn't see it in the theater, but we finally caught it. Now the buzz everywhere, now that everybody's seen it, is that it's a stinker. I just want to know off the top, without getting into details, where do you put it? Crap, good, or eh?
It's a little bit higher than eh.
Mm-hmm. So between eh and good?
Yeah, I would say that.
I gotta say, this kind of took me by surprise. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I was gonna. And it's a dramatic improvement over the script. In fact, it's a colossal improvement on the script. And I know you and me both saw reviews and people that had read the script as well, and they were like, "Oh, it should have been more like the script." I disagree. Fuck that script. Fuck it up its stupid ass. It sucked. Okay, and it was one of those scripts that the longer I thought about it, the more I was like, "That fucking stinks."
Because I remember you were like, when you first read it, you were like, "It's pretty cool, man. I like it." And then the more time passed, you're like, "Woo."
Yeah, I just got angry at it. And the major problem with the script was that it took too long to get to something, just like I'm doing right now. But this movie, my first pro for this movie is that it moves at a steady clip. Such a steady clip that it doesn't let you stop and think too much about things and let you deconstruct them. Because if it really did,
that's true.
a lot of stuff would fall apart. But there's a place for a movie like this, you know? Let's face it, man. Because I've seen some people criticize it. Oh, the kid's on a fucking autist. How is he going to be the reason that... Shut up. We get stupid concepts like that in movies all the time. It's a matter of accepting them. And I think the script versus the movie actually kind of moved at a pace where I was like, all right, that's what's happening. And you know, it was credible enough. So that's a big pro for me, that it moved at a steady clip without being too fast, too. Because too fast can be a problem, too. That it just kept moving. It was action-packed. It was funny at times. And whatever problems I did have with it, it just, again, it was so brisk that I was like, oh, fuck it. That already passed. Let's move on to the next cool thing. So
yeah,
that was cool.
I kind of have to agree. I'm just going to jump in because that's also a pro for me. Yeah, when you stop and think about it, it's kind of dumb. Especially, you know, we're supposed to believe that apparently Chris Chan's the next step in the evolutionary ladder, but... Whatever, the movie, you believe it because it goes so quick. You're like, all right,
yeah,
I'll buy it.
It's kind of like the used time and time again. We only use 10% of our brain concept. Come on,
we complete bullshit.
Yeah, it's complete bullshit. But we accept that when that happens, so we understand instinctually what the movie's trying to say. And in terms of the movie, I thought it worked. I understood what it meant.
I do think Chris Chan should have been the kid instead, though.
That would have been a movie where I wanted everyone to die.
The Predator would just lie and be like, ooh.
The Predator would just commit suicide, really. Yeah. Anyway, another thing that I liked about the movie is, and this was actually a surprising pro for me, was the team. And by that I mean McKenna's team, the military guys. In the script, I pretty much hated them. All their lines were extremely cringe. The humor was horrible. I'm not saying all the humor will hit for everybody, but man, you know what? I really like these guys. I especially liked Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane. They actually had a little rapport there that worked, for me anyway. And I was kind of surprised, man. You know, they were really nondescript in the script, or too bad in the script. And our main hero, McKenna, was kind of a fucking wimp in the script. Here, I think the changes they made in that third act to the ultimate theatrical thing really helped his character become something of a badass. And, you know, they obviously allowed all these people to ad-lib a bit, and that really worked for them. Surprising. I ended up liking the team. What's in their pro for you?
The same. Also, it's like a mini con, which I'll mention here because it ended up not actually being a con.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I kind of thoroughly disliked Keegan Michael Key, but I actually ended up liking him as the movie went along. So I was like, all right, cool, because he was kind of annoying at first, but then you kind of get what is going on. You're like, all right, he's actually, and then by the end, I actually ended up liking him. So yeah, I actually ended up liking them too.
It actually created
there's occasional lines where it's a little like overwritten, and it's mostly with our main character. He says some lines that are like, oh, he's just trying to be cool there. But I think that's more of a delivery problem because everybody else does it fine. So
I think I think they ultimately created they fostered an air of likability.
Yeah.
That's its own individual thing. Instead of trying to copy what happened in the first Predator and make a team that you liked for that specific reason, this is a team that you liked for this specific reason. And they each had character quirks that you either may or may not enjoy, but at least it's their own character quirks. So yeah, man, I was surprised by that. Another thing that caught me by surprise, and I'm not saying this is a major pro, I'm just saying in comparison to the script, Olivia Munn's character was a complete piece of shit in the script. She was very annoying, very in your face. Oh, I'm a fucking girl. All that shit was either completely ignored or they just presented her as what she was. Now, some people and some critiques have said that she ultimately is a waste of a character. She has more to do in the theatrical than she does in the script.
Yeah, she does kind of become like a exposition machine, but you're okay with it at the
when
it happens.
In a high concept movie, you need exposition machines, and she serves that purpose and then more. Yeah. So surprised by that, and also surprised again a mini probe just because it didn't suck. The kid in the script was either it was gonna suck or somehow they were gonna pull that out of their ass. Well, they changed up enough and excised enough of the script to make the kid work, and the actor's a good actor too, so that helped obviously. So surprising pros. We'll come back to the pros. I'm sure more will come up, but let's go to some cons. Con number one: that guy that looked like Sinbad. The fuck was up with that guy? I don't know if Sinbad just had a cameo in this or some shit, but that one military guard really looked like Sinbad. I'm just saying. Major con.
I'm pretty sure he was Sinbad.
I mean, he needs the job. I'll give him that. I don't know, man. A big con for me, besides Sinbad, was the effects.
Yeah.
Overly dependent on CGI.
I agree.
At points, they are terrible. At others, they're serviceable, but you're still like, damn, that's a fucking effect.
Yeah.
You know, and
they're kind of all over the place. Sometimes they're pretty good.
And sometimes most times, really, they're mediocre to awful, most times, in my opinion. But yeah, sometimes they're good, and you're like, okay. And sometimes they're physical, and you're like, well, I wish more of that. But...
Let me add a con to that, because it goes along with the effects. I thought the big Predator was the biggest. No, you know what? It wasn't the biggest, but it was one of the biggest failures with the CG because he's like almost always CG, and when he's almost always CG, there's more room for error. So sometimes I thought he looked really bad, and sometimes he looked cool. So you're kind of like, what's going on here?
And then there was some sort of
the dog was the worst though.
There was some sort of color disparity where it was like, wow, they didn't even darken the effect, so it just straight up looks like an effect. And yes, the Predator dogs look terrible.
They're the worst effect and the worst design in this movie.
Yeah, design-wise, I agree with you. I think still the worst effect is the Super Predator, man. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's an effect you should have poured everything into.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree because, you're right. He's kind of more important than the dogs. Yeah. And his failings are kind of... And even the design isn't great for him, but if the effects had been cool enough, you would have accepted it. But yeah, the effects are really bad with him, and then it's weird.
The gore as well is aplenty in this, as it should be in a Predator movie. But a lot of it is CGI too. So you're like, oh man, that blood looks fake as shit. This is especially true when Keegan-Michael Key gets a hole blown through him.
Oh yeah.
You're like, dude, that's just a fucking lame CGI effect. Doesn't look remotely real. Even Thomas Jane getting impaled is like, dude, that's a fucking CGI stick. You couldn't put a man on a stick.
And the blood's just pouring off, and it looks like that fake viscous blood.
Yeah, the effects are pretty atrocious. But it doesn't destroy the movie because, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll agree with this, it's a pretty fun and engaging action-packed movie, so I kind of overlooked the bad effects. It didn't bother me as much as it should have, personally.
Yeah.
But they are bad.
Yeah.
On the contrast, let's go back to a pro real quick, because it kind of goes in hand with what I just said. I don't know about you, but I thought the action was pretty great most of the time. It looked cool. It was, it came at a breakneck speed, too, as well. The only time it kind of fails is, again, when there's just effects on effects fighting each other. And you're kind of like, man. But it's not terrible either there.
I want to give a pro in that Jake Busey got a job. And also Thomas Jane got a job.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy with that. Thomas Jane's looking like he's hitting the booze a little too much recently.
Well, we all know that.
So it's always nice to see him get a job.
And so the con will be that Thomas Jane will die eventually.
Yeah.
But a serious con, though, is, and I got to give a thumbs down to this con right here, is the thumbs up. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, there's a scene where the Predator's kicking all kinds of ass. He gets onto a military vehicle, kills everybody in the back, eviscerates them, chops one guy's hand off.
Yep.
The guy driving the vehicle says, "Is everything okay back there?" or something to that effect.
Like that.
And the Predator thrusts the eviscerated arm.
First, you get a first-person Predator vision of him looking around, and then he sees the hand, grabs it, and then sticks it out.
Sticks it out. Not only sticks it out, but sticks it out with a thumbs up. And I realized, that was a comedic beat, but that was a comedic beat that fell horribly flat for me.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there weren't a lot of those, personally speaking. There was another scene that kind of scared me, and that was the part where our main character had to take a shit.
Yeah,
I had totally forgotten that he had swallowed the invisibility device. But thankfully, when that happened, I was like, "Oh, okay." But did we need that sound effect? Did that precise moment? That's when he decided to crash. He could have said, "I have to go to the restroom
to take this orb
and
out."
we could just assume that he forced the shit out. We didn't need him. But whatever. Now,
a big con, the dog.
Yeah.
Just again throwing that.
Look, I'm gonna put the dog in a middle ground, a gray area, because in the script,
because you experienced the turd dog,
dude. In the script, that was the worst thing in the script. The dog. It was so stupid and ludicrous, and his involvement in the end is still somewhat similar in the sense that he's kind of a Deus Ex Machina mechanism. He comes in to at the right time to deliver something, a bomb, but it's so much more played out in the movie than it is in the script. In the script, it's like, oh, come on, man. This fucking dog saved the day, basically. This sucks. And this one is just part of the tapestry of the final battle. And I like that. I actually kind of enjoyed that. Now, maybe I'm being a little biased because I experienced ultimate shit dog. But the dog actually wasn't that bad. It's a silly concept, yes. But again, the movie moves so quick for me that I didn't even have time to think of how silly it was. Maybe upon other viewings it'll get to me. But I don't know. I enjoyed it the first viewing.
I'll put that as a con for me. I think it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But there was moments where it's like, oh, come on, dude. We get it. The dog's there. And then like you'll be in the background like looking proudly or like wagging his little tail and shit.
Dude. You don't know the agony that I suffered.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've seen the worst one.
I've seen the worst version of
this was me just seeing the movie, and I was like, man, this little dog has got to stop. Especially, I would have been kind of okay with the dog if the design wasn't so terrible and the effect wasn't so terrible.
Yeah, the design is horrible. Speaking of designs and effects, here's one design that shouldn't have been on anybody the size of a kid, and that's when the kid goes out, trick-or-treating, he uses a Predator mask. First of all, how did that kid's neck not break?
Yeah, he just has, like, tape, too, like Scotch tape.
Second, come on, man. I get it, but still, whatever. Minor con.
I question that tape, because if it's powerful enough to hold that big a thing, what is it going to do when he takes it off his head? It just rips off his flesh?
Yeah, what the fuck? But anyway, you want to add any other pros or cons?
Pros. Actually, again, it's just kind of a rethink. I think the team, the fact that they didn't try, you kind of mentioned it, the fact that they didn't just try to do the team again from part one was good. It also was way better in part two, so I'll put that as a pro.
Yeah, say what you will. And believe me, at one point I liked part 2. Now I'm just like, that's not a great movie. I enjoyed this much more than part 2. Sue me. I still think Predators and Predator 1 obviously is better.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this more than part 2. Don't get me wrong, part 2 has its moments, but ultimately it didn't hold up. And maybe this one won't hold up in a few years, but upon first viewing, hey, enjoyed it. I have to say one final con, and that's the conclusion to this movie. It damn near broke everything for me. I fucking hated that conclusion. And I'm just talking the final scene. It's different in the script, and although it's kind of a callback and a cheap callback at that, it was kind of cool. And basically they would have brought Dutch back is what it is. But in this, they basically deliver the idea that the fugitive predator was bringing us a secret weapon. And the secret weapon is a predator mech suit.
Yeah, like Iron Man suit.
And it's a horrid effect.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the dogs, but really the worst effect in this movie is that effect.
Yeah, I'll agree. It kind of looks like a 1990s Kenner Predator toy.
Yes.
Only shittier.
Fuck, it was terrible, dude. That was one of the worst endings ever. And I would have even done with, I was up to the, really it was the effect. The idea that this guy risked life and limb, this fugitive predator risked life and limb to deliver us that? That's the secret weapon!
It's just like one suit, too. Like, what the hell are you going to do with the one suit?
And granted, okay, the guy's like, that's my fucking suit. That's cool, but the suit sucks! And look, I was actually like, when that thing opened, I was like, are they gonna... I knew they were gonna change shit up just by how it was ending. But I was like, is that gonna be like a DNA replicant version of Dutch? I was hoping for something that silly versus this fucking suit!
Or like Adrian Brody.
Anything but this suit. Yes, Adrian Brody would have been cool. He brought Adrian Brody from the Predator planet.
That would actually
back.
be cool. Yeah.
That would have been fucking badass. Thank you. That is the ending that should have happened.
Plus, we're Brode fans.
Brody fans. Love those. He's the pianist.
He was one of the worst SNL hosts. You know.
I mean, that's a winner right there for me. That should have been the ending. Yes, that would have been fucking badass. Instead, we get this shitty Power Rangers effect. Fuck, that ending. Had I not enjoyed the rest of the movie so much, that ending would have been disastrous. It's still disastrous. I'm just gonna, if I ever see this again, and I probably will, I'm just gonna pretend that ending doesn't exist. But whatever. Let's give our final score on this. Final thoughts, if you have any. Hit me.
Final thoughts. It's not the worst Predator movie. It's also not the best, but it's actually pretty enjoyable. Dumb fun. Yeah, if you think about it, it kind of falls apart, but why the hell would you go into The Predator thinking about it?
Yeah, thinking you're going to get genius moves here.
Yeah, for me, not all the humor landed, but more than I thought it would, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Dog Predators is kind of a big detractor for me, but it was pretty good. I'll give it a 6.5. It was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, man, I had a lot more fun than I thought I was gonna have, and I'm glad the script was changed dramatically. I'm glad they reshot that third act, because that would have been shitty to see. For the most part, there were some cool parts, but for the most part, it would have been shitty. Yeah, enjoyed it, man. What can I say? I'll give it a 6.5 as well, and then maybe even an enthusiastic 7. Just if I'm comparing to the other Predator films.
Mm.
But yeah, really it's like a 6.5. I will watch it again and see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there you have it. Not as bad as some people are saying. Definitely better than Venom, so fuck that.
Check that video out.
Yeah, check that video out. I mean, I don't care if Venom made $10 billion. It sucks. Anyway, spoiler alert. That's been a Half Dog Productions video.
Yeah, we got a name.
Check out our other channel, $10 Slammer, for other assorted miscellany. In the meantime, hit like, share, subscribe, those notification buttons, because we're out.